Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on the first brand new episode of the Doctor Who fan series, The Forgotten Doctor, in a mad long time. It was a long time coming, man, and I'm just so stoked that they are actually back at it, and this is going to be a slightly spoilery discussion of their brand new episode, for all intents and purposes listed as their Christmas special episode, but also technically listed as the first episode of the second season, and it's just gangbusters. I mean, it exceeded expectations, you know, special effects wise and everything like that, and I'm not going to touch upon everything in high detail. I want you to go check it out. It will be listed in the description box below, so you can go check it out, come back and you know, hear what I have to say about it, that kind of thing. Definitely go watch it first. Subscribe to their channel. They are doing excellent work. You can tell that everyone behind this production is a Doctor Who fan. They love the series. They love its rich history. There are references that abound and everything like that. Even in the span of just 14 and a half, a little more than 14 minutes, they fit so much into it, and it leaves you wanting that much more. I think one of the main sort of attractions to the show is the titular Forgotten Doctor himself. For those unfamiliar, think of it along the lines of an age undreamed of, an alternate timeline, where this incarnation of the Doctor kind of sort of fits in, I forget exactly, I think it's somewhere between the War Doctor, 9th and 10th, that kind of thing. And so there are familiar aspects to the portrayal in the personality of the Doctor, but Java Green, the cat who is credited not only as the titular Forgotten Doctor, this incarnation of him, this cat is writing, he's directing, he's producing, he's got a whole host of people behind the scenes that do wondrous work and really impressed me from the get-go all throughout the first season, which I covered in episodic reviews because of how much I could see resonating through the screen. You know, how much of that blood, sweat, and tears, that passion for the series was being put across in their performances and everything like that. It is a fan production, so not, you know, the special effects, the sound design is not always going to be on par with the actual legit series, but if you can sort of turn off an overly critical mindset and you can watch it and really, you know, feel the story, feel the vibe of the characters, it really pulls you in. And so, I mean, really the go-to attraction is Java Green in that role. I mean, if they could ever get around to making like action figures of unofficial doctors, you think of Curse of Fatal Death, which I'll get back to in a minute, you know, alternate doctors that didn't necessarily exist in air quotes canon, you know, that kind of thing. I would love to have an action figure version of this particular Doctor to be on my shelf amongst all the 13 others, you know, that kind of thing, because he is such an endearing performer in this role. And you get the sense, much as has been the case in the modern series and the classic series, you know, whenever it comes to the actors portraying the Doctor, there is a suspension of disbelief because of their charm, their prowess in the performing of the character. And Java has it. Java, again, the titular Forgotten Doctor, he has it. No holds barred. And I enjoy watching this series because of him. Even if the special effects aren't always up to snuff, even if the sound design kind of gets wonky in places because it is a fan production, they're doing the best that they can with what they have. And I'm enjoying every drip and minute of it. You know, as a Whovian myself, I love all of the classic series references, most especially. I mean, there is stuff for the modern series fan. The sensibilities of sort of the story approach and everything like that are very modern series, but there are those classic references. One being the standout in this particular episode, the sort of episodic companion, if you will. As we know, if you've followed the series all throughout the first season, the companion from season 1 basically has gone missing, and I'll leave that vague. Go back and check out season 1. I highly recommend it, so you can see the intricacies of the story, what happened with that particular character, Sasha, and the Doctor has been alone for a time. We don't have any Nardole as we have in the modern series with the Christmas special that aired this year, 2016, as of the time of this recording, just a few days ago. This came out the same day. It took me a couple days to get to it just because my birthday is the day after Christmas. And it's like, okay, well, if the Doctor Who proper Christmas special, The Return of Dr. Mysterio, was my Christmas present, this was definitely my birthday present. Because the special effects, you know, I kind of sort of give the impression that I'm harping on them a little bit, being that it is a fan production. But the special effects in this particular episode exceeded my expectations. I mean, they were spectacular. There were a few moments there where I was forgetting I was even watching a fan production. They were just stellar. You know, from the Doctor, maybe kind of sort of, again, not wanting to spoil anything, no holds barred, that kind of thing. Maybe kind of sort of exudes regeneration energy in a scene, and it's like, whoa, that's pretty damn awesome. Seeing, of course, the sonic screwdriver lighting up and making its sound effects, it's just pitch perfect. It goes right in line with what you expect with anything Doctor Who related, and to have this companion who relates back to the classic series like a through line. It is a perfect through line. This character, portrayed by Rachel Marie-Howell, is Alex Grant. For all intents and purposes, Joe Grant's daughter. If you're not familiar with the classic series, first of all, shame on you, but she is one of my favorite companions from the classic series, traveled with the third Doctor, John Pertwee, and it's just perfect to have, you know, a character that so closely relates to an era of Doctor Who I love, sometimes even more than the modern series. I'll be honest. There's so much to delve into with the classic series, and I'm somebody who I came to Doctor Who with its renaissance. Series 1 back in 2005, Christopher Eccleston, Billie Piper as Rose Tyler, the Ninth Doctor, you know, that kind of stuff. I mean, I watched it, I fell in love with it immediately, and it resounded for me because I personally felt like it was familiar, and it took me a couple of years to pinpoint why I felt that way, and it turned out I would later realize in delving into the classic series, I have seen this before, and it turned out my first experiences were with my mom watching back in New Jersey on a local PBS station reruns of Tom Baker's era in the show. And so, I mean, all that stuff, I suddenly started delving that much more into the classic series DVDs, and I really feel that exuding off the screen with all the references, with all the different things going on. You know, the inspiration for the story. I mean, Krampus gets a mention because it is Christmas Day after all, and but the Doctor is, for all intents and purposes, chasing a book, you could say, through the ages, through time, and it kind of has a reminiscent factor to, if you think of the modern series episode Fear Her, where people were being sucked into like drawings, becoming drawings and everything. Later the Doctor would, spoiler warning, I guess, free them from it and everything. There's a whole ball of graphite and stuff like that. You know, nothing quite, you know, smarmy like that in this particular fan episode. It's actually quite intriguing that, for all intents and purposes, we have a maybe kind of sort of nefarious Time Lord who passes this book to a couple of kids, and havoc ensues through the ages, I might add. And I really loved the opening shots of this particular story. I think it's like 1787 or 1783, something like that. And there's a matron who is being seemingly chased by something through the woods. Very reminiscent of Evil Dead. I'm a big-time Ash vs. Evil Dead fan. I love the original trilogy. I don't know if they did that intentionally. I don't know if they did that opening shot intentionally, but it was awesome. I just loved it. It had me from the haunches from the outset because of that. There is a reference to Curse of Fatal Death, which was a, I think, Red Nose Day or something like that, you know, special that was done. Rowan Atkinson played the 9th incarnation of the Doctor, and then you had a whole bunch of well-known British actors, and in one case an actress, playing further incarnations of the Doctor because the regenerations went haywire, one of which was Hugh Grant. And I love the line between this particular Doctor and the companion in the episode, Alex Grant, where she's like, well, it's you, you know, and he's like, well, no, my name's not Hugh this time around, not Hugh Grant, you know. People who aren't familiar with the annals of Doctor Who, and I'm not saying I'm an aficionado by any stretch of the imagination, but I picked up on that because I love that particular short, that comedy special, if you will, and I just thought that was really really awesome that he ended up talking about that, making that reference. Hugh, not Hugh this time around. And so, I mean, I really, I'm almost skirting the entire length of this fan episode in my discussion of it without actually getting too much into the nitty gritty. And I really don't want to. I don't want to spoil it for you guys. If you're a Whovian, if you're curious about Doctor Who, if you're curious about fan productions, I gotta tell you, man, there aren't many out there that impress me with their production value. You think of like Star Trek fan productions. I love Star Trek Continues. They are really the standalone, the sort of second to none fan production when it comes to Star Trek stuff. And at least for me, for my bottom dollar, which is free, it's on YouTube, thankfully. I don't have to put any money out. This is the fan series you want to watch, one way or the other. Again, there is some level of suspension of being critical. You know, there is, all through the first series, there would be times when in my reviews I would say, well, the sound was a little wonky here, the special effects were a little wonky there, maybe an actor wasn't, you know, on par with the actual legit series, that kind of stuff. But I still thoroughly enjoyed every single episode. And this one, again, to go back to my earlier term, it was gangbusters. The special effects, you know, all that kind of stuff. The creature, we only see sort of briefly, I guess that, a mild spoiler. Won't say what the creature is, won't say exactly what's going on. But for what we do see, it's actually pretty awesome. And I mean, you know, what more can you really ask for a fan production series where an episode is only a little more than 14 minutes long? It does go fast-paced. It kind of cuts out all the gristle of what you might get in a full-length episode, but it leaves you wishing it was a full-length episode. I mean, you really invest your time with these characters and wish you could spend that much more with them. And there's no more higher praise I can really give a fan production to leave me wanting that much more, to make me wish I could see more adventures through time and space with this particular Doctor. And it's just because the series is gangbusters. It's the passion and the love that is going into it in its production and everything like that. And it's great. It's great that it's back. So, yeah, I highly recommend, if you have watched this video, maybe you've seen the episode already, maybe it'll be your first time encountering the series. In any case, let me know in the comments below what you thought of this particular fan series episode, which, again, the special effects just wowed the hell out of me. I absolutely loved it. You know, I want that much more from these guys, from these cats and kitties, and I think you will too, especially if you're a Whovian like me who has an appreciation for the classic series and all that stuff. And so, yeah, otherwise it'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.